Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Big reports from Portugal this morning confirm Arsenal's conversations with the agent and camp of Viktor Gyökeres, plus state that Manchester United were also involved in those conversations yesterday, not at the same time, of course, separately, and that both parties are expected to make formal bids imminently in the coming few hours. We are going to break that down. We're going to take your views. We're going to get your opinions on this big breaking story this morning as well. Make sure you have hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Get yourselves subscribing as well. But official bids have been reported on this deal, and it seems to be heating up. And V straight away here says it's bullshit. Now, it may very well be. It may very well be, as you say, not true. But it was Portugal, the record in Portugal, who first broke us the news that Arsenal had held talks earlier on this window. They were the first outlet to state that Man United had been in regular contact with Gyokeres. They were the first outlet to report on the problems and the disharmony between Gyokeres' camp and Sporting. They were the second to report, not first, but second to report about the meeting yesterday with Arsenal, which has now been confirmed by CNN to be true. So am I going to completely discredit this news? No. We'll see whether or not official bids are made, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to get views. We're going to get opinions on it, as we always do. Hi, yes, I'm good. By the way, I'm okay. I've got a bit of, been to the doctors, got a little bit of laryngitis, so the voice is not great, but I appreciate it. Hey, from the United Stand, big up yourself, Jay. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you tuning in to the show. Absolutely, people. Make sure you hit the like button. Goldbridge will flog you if he sees you peddling this. No, he won't. Me and Marcus spoke about this morning. So I'm getting views on it. I'm getting opinions on it. But this is a story that is now spreading. A Jogo here have said that Gyökeres' agents met with Arsenal and United. Offers expected soon in hours. Arsenal seen as the front runners. Arsenal have not yet decided between Sesko and Gyokeres. Yeah, and look, we've seen many of these reports that have come out. And the actual link, I'll post the link for the article in the live chat as well for you all to read, so you guys can go through it and have that conversation. But look, there's lots of different takes on this story that are coming out across social media. There are sources that are close to United. For instance, we heard Andy Mitten say a couple of days ago that when he spoke to people at the club, it was like a deal or conversations around Gyokeres were not even being discussed. We're not even on the agenda. Nobody was speaking about it. Nobody was talking about it. It's not seen as a serious deal. You know, these things have been said already. So there is the possibility that, you know, that United are not looking him, if you believe Andy Minton. I heard Laurie Whitwell say that United are in no urgent rush. But then we've heard Fabrizio Romano state that Manchester United have been in contact with Viktor Gyökeres and his camp on a regular basis. So you've got one of the... And by the way, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed far more of the Portuguese's press reports than the English press have, who are really playing this deal down. Very few members of the English press, barring Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook, have reported about United's interest and their seriousness towards this deal and everything else surrounding it. So from my perspective, we're always open to this. We're always going to talk about this and everything else. Hi, Terry. Missed the start, was on the United Stand. What's popping? Well, look, this is essentially the story for everyone that's tuning in maybe a little bit later. A big story in Portugal this morning, and it states here that Gyokeres' transfer is starting to take shape as United and Arsenal are set to make their offers. The agent met yesterday with both Premier League. When it translates into English, it translates into with the two Premier League sharks. That's how it translates, who are preparing an offensive. It says Gyokeres met with Manchester United's and Arsenal directors yesterday, and they are preparing, according to record, to present an official proposal to Sporting in the next few hours. Now, look, let's see how this transpires. Let's see how this goes. But with the news yesterday that Arsenal were in face-to-face conversations, there was an expectation in Portugal that things could progress towards one of these players. I'm hopeful that Man United win this race, but we will see. By the way, a big thank you to Jay Lloyd for becoming an official TFT member. Does anyone want one? Listen, if you are willing, I'm sure many members of our audience would love a free membership. If you're willing to give one out, my friend, I'm sure they would absolutely love that. But look, when it comes to this Gyokeres situation, let's just break this down and have a look at it. We know, and it's been very well documented, that Arsenal held a series of conversations earlier on in this transfer window regarding personal terms and squad status. It was well reported in mid to late May that Arsenal were leading this race. Man United had their sights set on the lap. Was he the number one target? Or did United think, actually, we've got less chance of signing him? We really should look at since signing Gyokeres, we should look for a more gettable, or maybe, a more gettable transfer target. But Arsenal were leading that way. And then around 10 or so days ago, all the news started breaking out of Germany that Sesko was the number one pick. They were working hard. They were trying to sort personal terms. They were negotiating via intermediaries to try and drive the asking price of £90 million down, but Sesko was full steam ahead. What has been very, very well documented is that Berta, in his approach, often likes to look at one or two players, sometimes three, work on the deal simultaneously, gets them to a very close position to completion before actually making a final decision, before pressing that button and onboarding, signing, and unveiling a new player. So when you read all of those stories and articles, none of this should come as a shock. None of this should read as crazy. Nobody should be sitting there saying, I can't believe this is happening, because the way these transfers are looking is exactly how many people thought they would play out, with Arsenal having a massively keen interest in this player, working on this deal. Which one they go for, nobody knows. If you go by the sort of pattern of the media, it was Gyokeres, then it was Sesko, now it's Gyokeres again. From Man United's point of view, look, United are in a position where we need to sell to buy, according to most reports. Manchester United want Gyokeres. They're pursuing him on a daily basis, according to Fabrizio Romano, but we know it's a difficult deal because of finances. And at the moment, United are not close to the exit of Sancho. We're not close to the exit of Rashford. We're not close to the exit, according to most credible reports. There's a few that have said Garnacho's exit is close, but by and large, it doesn't feel like United are close or imminently going to be removing those players. Anthony is another. Casemiro is another. You've got the Onana situation. And the reason why I mention those players is between them, there's big transfer fees and big wages connected. And United need to be in a position where they're sure. Now, if Arsenal really are going to make an official bid, that is where you could see Manchester United's hand forced, and United taking a bit of a gamble where we go, right, we're going to have to put the bid in now. We're going to have to try and sign the player now if Arsenal are going to make that move, rather than waiting until we've sold a few players. So, yeah, look, it's going to be a really interesting situation if this news story is true, if the Portugal record is correct about this deal. David Gyokeres can't score with his head. I've seen him score goals with his head. I think he scored 3 or 4 last season with his head. Let's break that down for a moment, right? Let's look at Benjamin Sesko. The other, I'm assuming you're an Arsenal fan when you say that. Let's look at Benjamin Sesko. I'm sure they've got a tab on their. I'm sure they've got a tab on the stats websites where you can break down how they scored their goals. Goals by minutes, goals by club, goals by competition. Is there a way of breaking down the types of goals you score? There must be. There nearly always is a way of breaking these things down. Can you go in? Is it under details? I don't know. Because I know you can look at penalties. Anyway, let's look at Sesko stats headers. Let's see. All goals. Does it just show you the breakdown of the goals? I don't know. Yes, it does. There we go. Let's have a little look here. So Sesko, all seasons, minutes, type of goal. There must be a header. Penalties, non-penalties, direct. How have they got this? They've got chest, solo run, deflected shot, corner, tap-ins, long distance, penalties, non-penalties. How have they not got headers? Oh, no, they do. I'm a liar. Okay, so let's filter him to headers. And let's do the same here with Gyokeres. So in his career so far, Sesko has scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 headers. 3 of them coming this season. So I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans say this. Viktor Gyökeres, it's loading now, has scored with his head. Now he is older, so this I will go from the same season, from the 2021 season onwards, because they're both played in that time period. Let's have a little look here. Let's have it. Why isn't this? Come on, this is taking so long to load. Hurry up and load. We're live. Here we go. It's loaded now. So he has scored this season 1, 2, 3, 4 headers. 2 the season before, where Sesko got 5, to be fair. 2 the season before that, and 1 the season before that. So Sesko does score more headers. Okay, so Sesko scored in that time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 headers in 5 years, where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 headers have been scored by Gyokeres. So yeah, he's not this dynamo of his head, but it's not as though Sesko scoring double 3 times the amount. So yeah, it's not something I'm overly worried about, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, it would be the least of my worries personally, but there we go. He definitely doesn't score a lot of his head. No, he doesn't. But how many? But you got to ask you how many. Like, let's do it. Most headed goals in a EPL season. Let's just look at this now. So Harry Kane scored the most amount of headed goals ever in a Premier League season in 22-23 by scoring 10. The record before that was set by Duncan Ferguson of 9, okay? And that was in the 97-98 season. And the reason why I think that is so significant, this year, for instance, I think Chris Wood scored 8 of them. But I think it's always important to go back and look at the stats here, because the next nearest to him was Haaland on 4 and Isak on 4. Let's go to the 23-24 season. Jared Bowen got 5. Watkins got 5. Chris Wood got 5. Gabriel got 4. Again, Haaland just 4. Scott McTominay 4. You look at the average numbers of headed goals scored per year in the Prem. Harry Kane, the one said 10. Haaland got 7 that year. Mitrovic got 6. Gabriel Jesus got 4. But it's 3s and 4s are the common pattern. And then every now and then you get like a 7 or an 8. The year before that, Harry Kane was top on 4. Season before that, 2021, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored 7. Benteke scored 6. Cavani scored 6. And then it was 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So I'm not saying he's a great header of the ball, but if Gyokeres averages 3 to 4 headed goals a season, it's pretty good. Do you know what I'm saying? I absolutely agree. He's not like a dynamo of his head that's going to score you 7 or 8, but 7 or 8 is an anomaly. The average is 4. It says here, Harry Kane averages 4 goals per season with his head. This is the problem with stats sometimes. They look low until you start to compare them. I remember someone said to me once, I want a new free kick taker. Why? This guy, like Bruno, he scores about 3 a season. Most average goals scored via a direct free kick per season. Look at the stats on this. The average amount. The average in the Premier League, it's actually dropped down to about 11. The average per player, we've got to do per player, right? Because I read this before, and I want to make sure I get my facts right before I say it. The average per season is around about 2. So if you've got a player scoring 3, they're above average. The most ever scored in the season, I think, is 5 or 6. So if you have a player that's scoring 3 or 4, you're only 1 or 2 goals away from equaling the record. It's sometimes things look really low and look really bad until you start to do like cross examinations. That's really important. But anyway, I digress massively on the conversation, just because that comment threw me. Sporting dominate the game. They probably don't cross the ball in the air a lot either. You would have to compare how other teams cross. That's also a great point. That's a great point there, Sean. Hopefully, did you put that comment up on the screen? We did. So let's actually look at this as an example. Let's go to Squawker, right? Because you can compare teams. So let's pick Arsenal because we're linked, because we're seeing him linked to him. So I'm on the wrong page. It should be on team. So let's put Arsenal in, and now let's put my club, Man United, in. All right, there we go. Wow, the Man United are there. And then, of course, let's add Sporting. This will give us an idea as well. Maybe they put in enough crosses. We don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked. So let's find... why is it not letting me have Sporting's... That's rubbish. That's right. It's not going to work because they're not... Squawker's not got the stats for Sporting this year. So let's just go and look here. This is probably the quickest way to do it. Let's go to the team stats in their league, and let's look at... look at the amount of crosses. Is there there must be a stat for crosses somewhere. Shot direction zones. Passing types. Okay, cool. Got that. Now let's go to the Premier League and get these stats. That's why it's always important to look at these things when you're having these conversations, because you make a good point. You could be right, you could be wrong. I don't know the answers. I haven't even looked at this before. So, for instance, Arsenal average 20 crosses per game. Manchester United average 17. Sporting Lisbon average 19. So fairly similar, if we're being absolutely honest there. So that could be a reason. It might not be a reason, but it's worth looking into. But yeah, he's not a prolific header of the ball. Doesn't mean he isn't a brilliant striker. You know, it really doesn't. How many headers a year is Mbappe scoring? Genuine question. I don't know the answer. Is he scoring loads? I've never thought about it. This here says Osimhem is the best aerially in the world. There's no one better. It's a great point. Listen, and I'm a massive fan of Viktor Osimhem, and if Man United could sign him, if Man United could bring him in, I'd be so happy with that. I'd be so happy with that. I really would. I think Osimhen would be a fantastic signing to add to any club. So yeah, if Man United do miss out on Gyokeres, who I rate, if we end up with Osimhen, I ain't complaining one bit. Nomad here says, I've been to the future and I've seen Big Gabby and Gyokeres doing the Gyokeres celebration together after one of them scores. They'll be friends now. It doesn't matter if Gyokeres can't score with his head. We already have players like Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Rice, Moreno, Havertz, who score a lot of headed goals collectively. Yeah, I mean, even when you say that, right, this Kai Havertz... all goals. Let's go to his all goals and let's search his headed numbers just to give an idea. Actually, do you know what we'll do? We'll look at Kai Havertz and then we'll look at Osimhen's just to get some contrast here. Some saying that Osimhen's the best player in the world when it comes to his head. He may very well be. Again, I've never looked at the breakdown of those stats, but we'll search them and we'll have a little bit of a look on that. Let's have a look here. If Wirtz is 150 million euros to pay as a 9, then Gyokeres, Osimhen, and Sesko as strikers should be 200 million. Then is what Wizard says here. You won't get Gyokeres or Osimhen. That isn't what I'm saying, is it? I'm saying what I would like. Saying what I would like is not the same as what Man United will end up getting. So no one is making that claim, my little friend. So headed goals for Kai Havertz. He scored 4 last season, 3 the year before, 3 the year before that. In the 21-22 season, though, for Chelsea, he did score 6. That was his best ever year. Osimhen, let's have a look at him. Oh, wow. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 headers this season, 5 last year. Prior to that, 1. 22-23 season, 6. In the 21-22 season, that the year they won the league, he scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 headers. So yeah, that's where you can see a phenomenal header of the ball. 8, 5, only won that season. 6, 8. Season before that was 1. Season before that was 1. That was actually against Chelsea for Lille. Season before that, he scored 5. So yeah, you can see a difference there. Absolute difference in that one. That's massive. That is really, really big. What does it say there? Dyslexia is a struggle. Terry is a beast. Yeah, my dyslexia is terrible, but there we go. Gyokeres is really good fit for us. He gives the cutting edge, and now with Rodrigo, if over the line and Zubi, we are talking a really, really deep team. It's interesting. I'm going to do some more on that later on the top 6, but I read a report today that from Marsa that Rodrigo is going to stay at Real Madrid. And it did make me laugh because everyone's gone, there you go, Arsenal, guaranteed you ain't getting him. There you go, Chelsea, guarantee you ain't getting him. But the same outlet that 4 days ago said that Zubimendi is about to join Real Madrid. That's a funny. I'm not saying completely disregard them. What I am saying is, how have you completely made your mind up? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Don't forget to look up his walking stats. This is also very true. We have to look at those walking stats. And by the way, thank you, J Law, for gifting out a membership to somebody at the Football Terrace. It was very, very kind of you indeed. So thank you very much, my friend. An update for anybody that is just tuning in, because I know a lot of people have joined since we first went live with this breaking news. The Record in Portugal this morning has stated that Manchester United and Arsenal are close to submitting a formal offer to Sporting for Viktor Gyökeres. Both clubs held talks yesterday with the representation of Viktor Gyökeres to try and strike up a deal. This is according to their report. So we'll see how that transpires in the coming hours, whether anything official comes out, whether or not that is confirmed by any of the kind of tier 1 journalists out there, as everybody likes to refer to them as. Nothing I can see right now, nothing from Fabrizio, nothing along those lines whatsoever has come out. Nothing from Ben Jacobs as of right now. Just this news from Portugal as things stand. Who's cheaper to sign, Gyokeres or Osimhen? I think their asking price is very similar, around that 70 to 80 million euro mark. The wages of Viktor Osimhen are expected to be higher, although I think both of them are asking for £250,000 plus. The only difference is, I think Viktor Gyökeres is happy with, say, £250,000 to 300,000 a week gross. So tax gets taken out. Some of the reports around Osimhen is that he wants it to be 250, 300 net, which means you're actually paying him nearer to 500,000. It's costing the club around £500,000 a week to do that. So Gyokeres is, I think, based on the reports, is certainly the cheaper option out there in the market. But we will see in relation to that. Now, look, I want to take your, by the way, if you haven't done so yet, I know you're all busy watching the show, but in the live chat is a link that connects you to our Instagram account, the Football Terrace's Instagram account. It would mean a lot to me if you guys could go and follow that, if you guys could go and subscribe, if you guys could go and follow. We've got a lot of content coming your way on that platform in the coming days, weeks, months, as it were. And if you guys could do us that honor of just going and supporting us there, giving us a little bit of a follow. One of the things that I made a mistake on when it comes to content creation, because I never thought it'd be a job, is I didn't really ever push to have big social media presence outside of YouTube, a little bit on Twitter. So we're kind of growing it behind everybody else, if that makes sense. That we're a little bit late in the development, I would is how I would put it. But if you guys could do us a big favor, if you can't see that post. We've just posted it again in the live chat for you guys to go and click on and follow. That would be amazing if you could. Let's have a little look this morning. We're getting close to 40,000 followers on there, but that's the page there. We should be getting the tick very soon, as you can see. So that's the official page. Is that going to zoom in? Why is it not zoomed in? There it is. Go follow it now. You can see the followers there. We're nearly on 40k. So go and follow us over there. It'd be great to see you guys on the page. So go and get that done, please, as soon as you can. Terry, we've been long enough on this earth to take everything with a grain of salt in relation to reports, etc. Krishna, I hear you completely. And I think for me, I'm not sitting here and going 100%, that's it. The bids are in today. We're going to get a final answer. There can be miscommunication. So Sporting may get unofficial bids today or unofficial offers, but through direct contact. It could be a miscommunication that formal proposals and formal paperwork will be offered to Gyokeres to make his mind up. That's plausible today. All these things could happen. And I think that for me is the element of transfers that I'm very open-minded to. An agent telling a intermediary who tells a journalist who prints it in Portuguese that then gets translated into English. You're going to lose things through that. You've all played the game Chinese Whispers, right? Is that offensive to say that now? I don't know, probably, but anyway, it's not meant in an offensive way. You played the game's Chinese Whispers, and you start off by somebody saying, "My dog loves eating bones." By the end of it, it could be, "Maggie said that your mum's a prick," right? I don't know why I said that. I don't even know who Maggie is, but you get my point. So things can change. For me, I don't believe the record are lying about the contact. I don't think they're lying about there being some type of contact with either directly with Sporting today or something more official with Gyokeres. When you look at all the other body of work surrounding this deal, there is elements of truth to it. Whether we get the outright official bids and decisions today is another question. I love reading your comments. Sometimes I read them and go, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I realize, oh, you're talking to yourselves. Osimhem reportedly wants 12 million per year, which is around 200k a week. Now, I've read that as well, but I've read some reports that say that he wants that net, which means you're paying nearer 20 million pounds a year to get that done. So it depends whether those, again, I'll take those, I'll respect those reports. I'll bank them in my mind. I'm not saying it's 100% the cast iron truth. So I'm only bringing it up because someone else who would be more expensive. You can't ignore all the reports. You don't use social media. Well, you've got a YouTube account. You're on social media, brother. You're here. Ornstein is always bang on the money with Arsenal. Surprised he hasn't dropped something confirming or denying the rumors of a bid. Well, I think, you know what, David? I think he starts to confirm things when they're moving along, which is why I still think Sesko, because I think he's mentioned Sesko, is more likely, but he hasn't denied them. So I think if Arsenal's name was being used, David, in the conversations regarding Gyokeres, I think if your name was being used to sell papers, to generate clicks, to pressure Man United, I think, one, you brief the media, and I think you brief Ornstein, and I think you shut it down. So the fact he hasn't denied it tells me there's something going on of some sort. This here says, with Nico Williams' wages too high, Arsenal were exploring Yildiz as an alternative, reports Mark Bros from, that's caught offside, right? But Juve are also in talks with the player over a new contract. Interesting. We're going to be touching on that on the Top 6 show later on today. I'm going to share the link now in the live chat. If you guys want to come on, if you want to have your say in relation to these stories today, I'm going to put that into the live chat so you guys can join us on the show. I'm going to pin that to the live comment section as well so you guys can see it to come on and talk. I want to get your opinions on this. How do you see this deal panning out? What's your thoughts on these reports this morning? Can't wait to hear from you all. I love Twisted Bubba. If Gyokeres was so good, why don't a proper big team go for him? Yeah, because Juve, Man United, and Arsenal are all tiny. This coming from a Crystal Palace fan. How do you block this channel? I keep getting notifications. See, this is where I know people lie, right? So I click on not interested on certain videos whenever they get recommended to me. So there's certain political people, certain news channels that I've only ever seen their videos once. As soon as you say not interested, YouTube will stop you from seeing them. You are a liar if you say that you say not interested and you keep being shown the Football Terrace. However, my friend, what I'm going to do for you, brother, is where's your comment gone? Where's your comment gone? There we are. What I'm going to do, I've clicked the ban user and delete comment button, which means you're blocked. That now means you can't at least comment. Do you know what I'm saying? So hit not interested, hit unsubscribe if you're not subscribed, and you will not see it. That's the great thing about social media. You don't have to like what I do or what Lee Gunner does or what the United Stand do or AFTV. But if you click not interested and you don't subscribe, you won't see it. But the fact you've come on this video and made a comment, that's why YouTube might show you the video again, right? Because you've interacted with it. The same as on YouTube, right? If you mute somebody, you don't see their tweets. I mute words as well. So if there's certain, so for instance, if a film comes out where I don't want to know anything about it, I'll mute the film, the actor's name. I see nothing. So you guys are liars. Doesn't trigger me because not everybody has to like what I do. But don't sit here and lie. Don't lie. Terry going to the doctors with a sore throat. Absolutely. You got to check whether it's viral or whether it's bacterial. Because if it's viral, you just take some aspirin, you ride it out. But if it's a bacterial infection, you need antibiotics to clear it. Otherwise, it could spread and it could get worse. To not go to a doctor would be stupid, my friend. You should always go. Plus, I use my throat's very important for my work. I need to check what's wrong with it. You know what I mean? Imagine a footballer. You got a bad hamstring. You went to the doctor. Well, of course he's going to go see his club doctor. He needs to make sure the hamstring don't go. Come on now. Come on now. Exactly. You have to subscribe to get notifications. By the way, get the bell notification hit as well, by the way, people. Get that done now. And absolutely, he's a liar, pants on fire. But people do this. Do you know what I mean? They do it. They do it. They do it. But there we go. Terry, are Arsenal scary yet? Ha 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 ha. Stand by what I said in 2022. Everything I predicted in that video came true. Everything I said in that video came true. That's why it triggers everybody. Because instead of just, not everybody, it's why it triggers my haters. Instead of going, you know what, Terry Flewers on that particular prediction was spot on, we're going to mock him over it. It was right. I said they'd become title contenders. That's all I've ever said. Cry more. Cry more. Cry more. Have you seen the black and yellow United kit? No, because I don't go on the website. I don't follow. Again, I'm a man of. I try to be a man of my convictions as best I can. We can't always do that, but I don't follow Man United. I don't go on the website. The only time I'll go on there is if there's like really big breaking news and I need to read a statement or something. But I have no idea what the new kits look like. I might see it on the TL later. I won't buy the new kits until there's an exit plan for the Glazers. I'm not giving my money to the club. Can't do it. I'm not like KJ. Like KJ gave in. I'm not wet wipe like my KJ. I'm joking. He's backstage. That's why I said it. Shouldn't laugh like that. It's so bad for my throat. It's unbelievable. But I actually need to gargle some more of this because I've been told to gargle aspirin, right? So I'm going to mute so you guys don't hear it. I also have another glass I have to kind of spit it into. And I don't want you guys seeing it, but my throat started to get a bit sore. Hi, Terry. Hope you get well soon. One, should United have gone for Kepa and would Hato from Ajax work at Arsenal? I haven't seen much of Hato play, but he certainly seems to have the dynamic for the physicality of the Premier League. I'm not sure about his technical ability. I just haven't watched him enough to have a wholehearted opinion. But what I have seen, I've seen bits of him. Looks strong. He looks quick. I don't know what his positioning is like, though. So there's no point having the physicality without the ability in the Premier League in that position. But he could be a good player. And should we have gone for Kepa? Well, Man United's initial approach this summer was to buy a backup. But that's looking like it's changing towards buying a first-team goalkeeper. So if we need a first-team goalkeeper, the answer's no. Hock tour. Hock tour and spit in that glass. I don't need to say pause. I'm not uncomfortable with my sexuality. You know what I mean? It's one of them ones. Another little life lesson for you. If you're ever out and something said that could create a pause moment, if one of your mates is going crazy about like, ah, you should sit down in a quiet room with him and have a nice, honest conversation. Be like, what are you not telling us, my friend? What are you so stressed about? There's something in there. There's something in there, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Somebody is trapped in the closet and they don't want to admit it. That's all it is. And there's nothing wrong with being trapped in the, be yourself. Be free. Run free. Let me check who's on my nothing on my screensaver to get me in trouble. You're free. Take a shower. run free in the fields. I had to check what was on my screen for a moment because people like to out of context things. You're free, especially if you're in the Western world. You can do what you want now. You know what I mean? Stop getting angry with your friends because somebody said love you, bro. Don't go, whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean love me? Just as a friend. Be comfortable in yourself. If you're not, let's have a conversation. You've obviously got to let it out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. One doth protest too much, methinks. Yeah, it's true. You got a mate, you accidentally brush his leg as you're getting off the train. If he throws an absolute hissy fit, it's like, oh. I want to say it. There's a meme I want to say, but I'll get cancelled for saying it. But it's like, why are you? But I'm just saying, just have that conversation with your friend because he needs help. He needs help. Thank you, by the way, a man like Ian here, official member of the Football Terrace, a brand new TFT member. Love you, bro. And thank you for doing that. Right. KJ is going to join me on the show, but I'm going to take a few calls before that. We've got PDA coming on the show. What a name. PDA, propaganda. I can't see the whole thing. We'll see propaganda's coming on. We've got Christian that's going to come on as well. But let's bring my guy on first of all. He's an Arsenal fan. Let's see what he's going to say. Welcome to the show, my friend. What are you here to say, bro?
Yeah, man. Big up for having me on, first of all. And
No
I'm
worries.
just here. I'm here to say, like, Berta needs to do the right thing. He needs to do the right thing and go and get Gyokeres. Yes, Sesko's younger, but I'd rather my striker, somebody that gets guaranteed goals. How many is that? He's got about 90 something goals in the last 2 seasons. Even if he gets, say, 50 something, half of those goals, that is good enough. With Sesko, I don't trust Sesko. I've seen him in pressure moments. I've seen him Real Madrid missing multiple one-on-ones. I've seen him against Portugal in the Euros to go through, missing another one-on-one. I think he missed 2 against Diego Costa. I don't trust Sesko. So I'd much rather Gyökeres. So whatever needs to be done, Berta, please go and do it. That's what I'm here to say.
Listen, I get you on that. I don't think Sesko's a bad player. I think Sesko would be a good signing. Where I agree is I do think Gyokeres is a level above. What does your gut tell you? What does your gut tell you Arsenal are going to do on these two deals?
Yeah, my gut's saying Sesko. And although I can't rule out that Sesko, he might be the guy in 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But my issue is we need to win now. It's 5 years. How long are we going to wait for Sesko to be ready? Is it going to be 7 years with Mikel Arteta with no trophy? And then the Arsenal fans are still going to be saying that, oh, give him more time. So I'd much prefer Gyökeres, give Arteta everything that he needs, whether that's Rodrigo, Gyökeres, give him all the tools. Then if this season, once again, he's not good enough, thank you. But then we've built a squad ready for whoever can take us to get over the line.
I hear you, bro. Listen, my friend, thank you for calling in. Make sure you do it
Yeah,
again,
man.
and we'll chat again soon. Thank you, bro. Top
No
man.
worries, man.
Thank
Big
you.
up, man.
Questions on the show with us now. What you saying, brother? You're on mute, my friend.
Hey, hi Terry. Good morning.
Hello, mate. Hello. Good morning to you. Who do you support, and what do you want to say?
Uh, I'm hearing my voice back, bro. Like I'm hearing twice the voices. Is there some glitch at the back
Yes,
end?
there seems to be quite a delay. Try calling us back, my friend. There seems to be a big delay and a big delay in there. Arsenal agenda is on with us here. What are you saying, Arsenal agenda? Oh, camera on.
Hello, hello. Yeah, sorry about that.
Hello, mate.
Basically,
Go on, mate.
yeah, go on. Sorry. Basically, I think most likely, it looks like what I'm reading, we're gonna get Sesko over Gyokeres. I think the main reason why is the Havertz situation. Arsenal has invested a lot of money in Havertz, so I think Arteta and the board and all of these guys, or Arteta and mainly Arteta, he wanted to play him in midfield, but that didn't work. So he moved him up front, and that clearly suits Havertz better. So clearly he doesn't want that competition with Havertz, like number one guy. He doesn't want that. He wants a guy younger. All the reports, even though they are not as reliable, maybe like David is not saying this, all of these guys are not saying it. But for me, it makes more logical sense why we are so heavily involved with Sesko and not as heavily with Gyokeres, because it just makes logical sense in the sense that he wants a guy that can develop behind Havertz. He doesn't want a guy that can play instead of Havertz. He wants a guy that develops behind Havertz, that doesn't play that many games, that can come in, rotate with Havertz. That's what Arteta is looking for. But if he wanted that type of player, I don't understand why he's going for Sesko, which is around the same price tag. You could have gone for Delap. You could have gone for a cheaper alternative. If you want a young person to develop under Havertz, you can go cheaper. But for some reason, I think the main reason why this is happening is a couple of years ago. Remember, we got Jesus over Isak, and a lot of Arsenal fans wanted Isak over Jesus. And I think this is like one of those regrets that he had. It was getting Jesus to the club, where at that time, even though he was a good player at the time and he was valuable for Arsenal, I think he looks back at it and says, "You know what? I think I should have got Isak, because he's a better goal scorer than Jesus." And looks like, and the main reason why we didn't, I think it was the price tag and the injury concerns. But both of them have gone like off the window, where Jesus is less reliable than him, and Isak is a better goal scorer. So now I think he's trying to make up his mistake of not buying Isak and buying a player like Isak. Because if you tell me what player is most like Isak, it's Sesko from he's like Isak from a couple of years ago, less developed course in it. So that's the main reason I think we're gonna get Sesko. Probably Rodrigo if we're lucky. That's up in the air because Partey hasn't signed his contract. Because if Partey leaves, we have to buy another DM. So a lot of things are in the air, and I think with Arsenal, I don't like what we're doing. We need to move quick and look at Chelsea. Look at what City are doing. Look at what Liverpool are doing. They're moving quick on their targets. I think we're taking too long. Kappa, I don't understand. Get 5 million. Why are we wasting our time? Get Kappa in. We got bigger things to worry about than the backup goalkeeper. We got I don't know what's going to do defensively. I think we are going to get reinforcements there, because Zinchenko, I don't think he's going to stay. So we need to move quick, spend our money, spend it wisely, of course. But I just don't like how we're maneuvering this transfer window. I just don't like it. We do it every year. We take too long. We take too long over transfers. And end of the season, we always regret it. We done this last season, the season before, the season before. Every single season we do this. City beat us to the punch. Liverpool beat us to the punch. Why can we just not get the transfers over the line and then take our time selling our players? And if they can't get sold, loan them out. It's not a big deal. I think what we do is penny pinch, maybe, I don't know. I honestly do not know who's to blame for our lack of transfers over the years. If it's Arteta, if it's the board, I don't know who it is anymore. Because at first I thought it could be Arteta, but Edu has left. You know, Edu has left in it. So I thought
Yeah.
maybe it's Edu, Arteta. Arteta, Edu has left. Berta has come in his first year, and it looks like this is exactly as last summer. And watch, we're gonna miss out on targets. We're gonna miss out on targets, Terry, and then we're gonna be on the back foot. I know we can't compete financially with City, but at least we can do what Liverpool are doing. I know they got Verts. I'm not saying get Isak for 120 million. I'm saying get Sesko at least. Why are we doing this? I don't understand.
I hear your frustration. My friend, and thanks for expressing it here. Look, there's a long way to go in the window. I will say that, and there's a lot of things happening. Oh, hang on. KJ just put something into the group chat. What's this about Fabrizio? Oh, that's about Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's changed his name. He changed his name to Trent. He is going for that brand.
Let me ask you a question. Honest question, Terry. I know you're a bit. I know I am less of an Arteta fan, to be honest. I'm not. Even though I understand why Arsenal fans like him. I understand why Arsenal fans want to keep him around. I understand all of it. But for me, these couple of years that he has been here, every single season, there has been a point where whatever the goal was, or he was able to achieve, like twice we finished 8th. Both seasons, I think we could have finished 4th. I know that when he first came, the half the season, I don't blame him for that. But the first full season, I think we could have got 8th. So every single season, there was like how do I say it? He not failed his objective, but he could have gone over the line, but he has never gone over the line in terms of winning trophies, in terms of even like finishing 4th 1 year, then he finishes 8th, of course. So with Arteta, I always feel like he struggles crossing the line, like, we finished 4th or whatever. You know what I mean? He doesn't actually. I think he's a good manager. I think he's a good coach, but his management, I really doubt his management. He's a good coach, but his management at times is lacking. Substitutions, the way he drives me nuts in substitutions, I can't even speak about it, because there's so many times where I know our bench was this year's excuse where the bench wasn't great, but last year we had a good bench. We had a decent bench last season, where there was so many times where he put Martinelli late, Trossard late. He puts them 5 minutes to go or something like that. He lets players a little bit too much. The leash of the players a little bit too much. You can put Trossard on, or Trossard has been really good, so you can put him on. But that's my issue with Arteta. My number one issue is, can he cross over the line? If I want Arsenal to give him everything this summer, no excuses. Give him Sesko, give him Rodrigo, give him everyone he wants. Give him everyone. Spend 250 million. But end of the season, one thing I do not want to hear from Igal or anyone else here is saying, "Oh, here's the excuses: injuries. Oh, we didn't buy the right players. We didn't do." I don't want to hear that anymore. Arsenal, buy the players, get this sorted. No excuses for Arteta or the players. I do blame the players.
Let me interrupt for a second. There's a question here from Christian that says, "Who are you replacing him, Arteta, with?"
This is what I don't like. A year ago, people were saying this about Klopp. Who do you replace him with? People were saying this. And this is what I don't like about football fans, They think, for some reason, managers are unreplaceable if they have a certain level of success. Wait, Real Madrid just replaced the greatest, most successful manager, right? It makes sense.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. But who would you who would you like to see? Who would be the guy in your opinion?
Look, there's a lot of options available. You can either stick to it depends what style of football do you want. For me, Arteta football and the Pep style football, I personally I'm not a huge fan of it. So I would try and play a little bit a player that plays more, a manager that plays a little bit faster football, maybe a German manager where they play a little bit more of the Klopp mold, more of the Nagelsmann mold than, you know, the Spanish managers, where I think they play a style of football where they even though it's not really Arsenal football. We play so slow now. That's the one thing that killed us last season. We play so slow. You can say it's the midfield's fault where there was a lot of injuries. Yes, and the previous season we did play faster. But for me, Arteta does like to slow it down too much for me. So I would go for a more of a German style than over a Spanish style. I would like to see a little bit of a change of mentality in terms of football philosophy, where we get a German manager.
I get that. So who are the names on your list? Who are the guys that you've watched that you like?
I know it's unrealistic because they some of them are in jobs, but I'm saying, for example, Nagelsmann, that kind of like where they used in the German league and they played in the German system. Nagelsmann would be somewhere up on my list. Of course, Klopp is unrealistic. I would say Klopp would be up there, but he ain't gonna come to Arsenal. But that's the type of manager I would like to see. You know what I mean? I don't want to see. I don't want to see a Spanish manager because I feel like even if I want Fabregas would be up on the list for me, but I feel like he will play too much like Arteta. You understand?
I hear you, bro. Listen, bro, thank you for calling in. Make sure you phone in again, my friend, and we'll chat soon. Top man. Thank you. KJ's here with us now. What are you saying, bro?
So I'm just confused about what I said. Apparently, the way you play football is about your nationality, and yeah. So any if you're Spanish, you only play like Arteta or Pep. If you're German, you play like Klopp and Nagelsmann. Apparently, that's that was funny. Very interesting indeed. But yes. Gyokeres. This deal is not getting done quick. I know a lot of people were hoping, especially like United fans and maybe some Arsenal fans, was hoping that this deal will get done super quick by mid-June. Like, get it done, it's through the door, and you can focus on preseason. This is one of those transfers that will be a saga. And that is mainly down to the player, his agent, and the club that he's at right now in Sporting. For once, we can sit here and say it's not Man United's fault for a hold-up. It's not Arsenal's fault for a hold-up. There's things going on with this player that behind the scenes it's got nothing to do with the buying clubs, and he's got to deal with that between him and Sporting and his agent. However, I've seen many United fans start this whole, because he's going through this agent saga with Sporting and he's having this beef with Sporting, is this a player that we want to sign? Is his agent someone we want to deal with? Because I know Man United fans are very scarred with the likes of Mino Raiola, may he rest in peace. I'll say Jorge Mendes is someone that we've dealt with quite regularly, and Man United fans have a problem with that. And so a lot of Man United fans have this attachment to, well, if the agent is trouble, I don't want to be a part of it because I've got too much drama and trauma from dealing with agents. And I get it. I understand it. But I don't think that should be a reason not to go sign Gyokeres, you know? Like, we should really just push on anyway, right? But if that is the case, say that Gyokeres is too much of drama, maybe even say if he picks Arsenal anyway, right? If we don't get him, I actually don't think Man United fans should throw the toys out the pram. I don't think we should be angry or mad or start burning down the club. Yes, it'll be frustrating because he looked like a player that we could get. But before the transfer window even opened, we all conceded that we weren't going to get him, you know? So I'm not going to change my stance now that if we don't get him, even though we had a chance to, they're going to be angry again. You know what I mean? There's no point of being angry about this. There are options, Terry. There are options out there for Man United to pivot to. Obviously, you got the main one in Osimhen. He's there. Obviously, we'll see what we'll do in that situation if Gyökeres misses out. But also, we can pivot to wide forwards. We can pivot to midfielders. We can use that money that we're trying to raise for Gyökeres in different ways to help improve the team. And as it is a rebuild, as we were trying to change everything, we've all said that it's not going to happen in one summer. So if that means that we miss out on the number one striker target, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, we've got limited options in who we want up front, right? And if we can't get number 1 or 2, and maybe at push 3, there is no point of us going for option 4, 5, and 6, because that is why we're in the situation we are in the first place.
Yeah.
We need to be able to be willing to pivot. Man United need to be willing to explore other options and not let this situation with Sporting and Gyökeres take over our minds. Because in the past, we'll see the situation and be like, oh, things are happening. Oh, we need to just get in there and sort it out. Boom, there's 90 million. We didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we need to be open. Cunha has experience at playing striker. And Bremer is experienced playing striker. We have Bruno experience playing false 9. We've got a system that can change. You don't have to play 3-4-3. Can we play a 3-5-2? Can we pivot that way? Can we maybe change it? Can Amorim evolve his tactics in a way where it can mitigate not getting his number one striker target? So Man United fans, I wouldn't panic. I know Man United fans are panicking about this whole thing. I wouldn't panic. Stay relaxed and calm because there are options and ways to pivot.
No, I agree. For me, I was very aware at the beginning of the window that we weren't fixing every problem in the club this summer. So the fact that people are starting to get frustrated that, well, if this don't happen, then that won't happen. And then this, well, you look what we did. We didn't get the lap. We know, I agree with you. I'm reporting on what the media, some of the media are claiming today that these bids are imminent. But from my point of view, that may not happen. I think this deal will drag on a bit longer, personally, as well. But of course, I'm not going to, titling the video that way would mean I'm titling it based on what I think, but I'm not a source. Ironically, I title it the way the media claim, and you're lying. Whatever way you do it, if I said today this deal will drag on for 6 weeks, there's no official claim to that, Terry. Why are you making it up? So if I express my thoughts, you're a liar. You express what the media says, other people call you a liar. You just got to deal with that. But I agree with you on that. We just got to stay calm and let's wait and see what happens here. The Man United fans and Arsenal fans are very similar to each other online fans anyway. The panic can set in at the most simplistic thing. Mm-hmm. Man United lost an end of season tour game where every 15 minutes we basically changed the 11 on the pitch. We lost it, and it was like, this club's embarrassing. We're an absolute disgrace. It's like, yeah, Bruno Fernandes in the game that we ended up winning went through one-on-one on goal and tried to do a fucking whatever that's Travella to score. He wouldn't do that we could be leading 5-0 in a Champions League final and he wouldn't try that in that position. So it's like the panic, the moral outrage over all that was crazy to me. Oh my God, we went on an open bus tour parade. No, 3 players are on top of a bus as a sponsorship deal thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that we panic so quickly, we lose our mind so quickly.
I've even seen it today with the new kit. Oh, the kit is basically the same as last year's. It's the same as 2 years ago. They ran out of ideas. We could never get anything right. I'm just like, guys.
You do, yeah. You also realize that Man United don't design the kits, right?
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, should leave Adidas. They've given us crap for you. Like, it is what it is. Like, some of the kits are good, some of the kits are fine. But Man United fans are in this state of perpetual negativity and doom and gloom. And I get it. We've had an awful season. We've finished 15th. We bottled the Europa League to flipping Spurs. We are quote unquote got no money to spend on transfers. We might sell our young players to get money. I know, so it does feel like there's this perpetual kind of negativity. But I'm just saying, like, 2 seconds, just chill, because what's funny, Terry, remember when Man United fans were kicking off about Ineos and how we need to be more like Chelsea and find loopholes, and we need to just say screw it to the rules and do our own thing. That was 6 months ago. Everyone complained about that, right? Now it turns out that Ineos have found a way to mitigate some of our PSR problems through using another company. And all of a sudden it's, oh, that's actually really clever. But there's no praise to Ineos. You know what I'm saying? There's no praise for that. So we go through periods where we're just complaining about everything without letting it simmer, without letting it cook, without it actually play out for just a little bit. And then when the opposite happens, it's kind of like, oh, okay. I don't know what to be angry about now. I'm just not gonna say anything. I just talk about it. So use it as a thing. So, oh, actually, maybe they're not as dumb as we thought. Maybe there can be a little bit of hope. We lost to that Malaysian team. Or was it Malaysian or where was it? Tyler, I forgot where it was. But we lost to that All-Stars team, right? And the world was crumbling down. Few days later, or a week later, we're linked to Mbemba. And then suddenly it doesn't look as dark, does it? So it just shows that we just need to relax as a fan base. And when it comes to the striker situation, yes, Gyokeres would be the dream. I know, to be fair, there's half the fan base don't even want him for whatever reason. But anyway, Gyokeres is the dream signing, the big name signing for striker. If we don't get him, there is options. And Terry, I saw last night and I messaged you about it. Apparently, John Duran is available for loan. It might be available for loan for next season from Al Nassr. Now, he is a player that before he went to Saudi, that everyone was like, oh, someone needs to take a punt on him. If he's going to leave Villa, he has to go to a big club, go to a Chelsea, go to a Man United, go to wherever. He obviously made his move as a young man who's probably grew up not in the greatest situation, saw the money, was like, screw this, man. Like, that's life-changing money, and I respect him for it. Now he's up for loan. You telling me that wouldn't be a good option if we miss out on the Gyokeres? If we can't get an Osimhen?
Exactly. But this is why I'm just staying calm for now. As you say, it's we've signed one player, we're close to another nobody expected. You've already said, we've found a way of kind of running the business for a new company, which means we've got more scope with PSR. It's people go, nothing's changed. Well, all these things are different, but yet people want to ignore the things that are different because it goes against their argument. And it's a bit like this comment here. And I want to rate. It's not to United, but it's worth popping up. JJ Bill says that the stupid question of who will you replace Arteta with is just dumb. I'm a fan. Let the scouts do their job and get a manager better than Arteta. There are many of them better. So for me, look, I understand that, but not if you're going to engage in debate. So if you're a member of the public and you just vote election time and you're sitting there frustrated, you're at a constituency meeting and you're listening and you're angry that there's potholes in the road, that the council tax bills are going up, there's no police presence, the bin bags are rising, the schools are getting worse, and you say you councillors, you MPs must do better, you're not there to debate. You're there to express your views as a member of the public. So if you're sitting there, JJ Bills, and you're just online or you're at the ground and you're saying, bring me a better coach, I agree that you don't need to come up with suggestions. You're just saying we need better. This ain't good enough. We pay our season tickets, we pay our subscriptions, we pay our memberships. We need better. If you're going to engage in debate on what's working, what isn't, what you need, if you're going to engage in a debate, you have to see that debate through. It can't just be we need better. How do we get better? What's the way forward? I think you've got to provide solutions if you're entering a debate. For instance, in politics, when you get people, whether they're left or right leaning, that sit there and do shows, Ben Shapiro or Stephen Crowder, or who's that guy who debated Jordan Peterson fairly recently? Can't remember his name. Got me with a lisp. You can't just sit there and say, I want the country to be run better. How though? Don't know. It's not down for me. I'm not a congressman. I'm not an MP. Just run the country better. If you're going to engage in debate, you have to have an argument. To have an argument, you've got to have suggestions for solutions. It can't just be, well, we need better. That's not, you're there to engage in a debate. So being asked a question isn't silly. It's not a deflection tactic. It's about, because if you come up with some good suggestions and that person has no response, oh, they're all crap compared to Arteta, you're winning the argument. Because a debate often isn't about convincing the person you're against. It's about convincing the audience It's about convincing the audience. Go, do you know what? That's a new way of thinking. If you don't have an argument, if you don't have a debate, if you don't have solutions, you're never going to win hearts, souls, and minds. You have to have a solution of sorts when you're debating. So I reject this idea that you shouldn't be asked that question if you're engaging in a debate.
And also, the part where it says let the scouts do their job and get them out of better manager room. That also then means you have to trust the same club that you're annoyed at for hiring and keeping Arteta longer than he should have, right? So, what if your scouts think Southgate is better, or your scouts think, I don't know, Thomas Frank is better?
But this is it. But I think aside from that argument, what you said here, my argument is getting the scouts to bring better. See the debate through by pointing to Chelsea with Maresca and Liverpool to Slot. My argument is more compelling that way. Well, it is and it isn't, because this is my counter to your argument. The same very people you're just putting all your trust into are the same people that are backing the manager that you want sacked. So deep that for a moment. You're saying it's not my job to create any argument, to do any scout. If you're going to have a debate, that is, you don't have to do any research. You don't have to create any argument for a replacement of management. It could be boardroom level, because sometimes to replace a manager, you also need to replace the people backing that person at board level, like a sporting director. The point is that your argument falls short, because the same very people you're saying go and find a better coach are universally behind the manager you want sacked. It doesn't make sense to me personally.
And wasn't Arteta this unknown when you first hired him? Like, wasn't he the outside of the box scouting, signing when they first hired him? And when he was hired, no one wanted, barely anyone wanted him from the Arsenal fan base.
Well,
so they've technically already done that. And then he's using Maresca as an example, right?
Yep.
So, okay, you got Maresca there. He finished top 4 and win the Conference League. Arsenal came second and been second 3 years in a row. So you're telling me Arteta would not win the Conference League and not have got top 4?
And this is all part of these conversations. And someone here says, bro's just listening to the stream. But he isn't just listening to the stream. He's putting across an argument that people like myself shouldn't ask Arsenal fans that want Arteta sacked how or what they would do to replace him. I think that's wrong. He's come back in though and said, this because we keep going in circles on this, I'm saying Arsenal scouts are incompetent compared to Liverpool and Chelsea scouts. That's all. Well, again, then, now this is why we ask questions, and this is the crux of it, because you keep asking questions, you start unrooting in your world. This is because not everyone may agree with you, and that's fine. But again, if the people that do the scouting and the recruitment are incompetent, your focus shouldn't even be on Arteta, because your own logic dictates the replacement isn't going to be much better either. Therefore, I think you need to go out. If you want to argue this publicly, you might not want to, but if you do, I think you've got to come out with better suggestions, because that's what you're presenting as your argument. And the hope is, and this is why you need it, but this is the irony, because I see a lot of people that are Arteta out say this, but they're the same people that say, no, I'm showing standards. Standards will make my club better. So you believe that your voice, by pushing standards, is powerful enough to make your club great. However, you don't believe your voice when making suggestions about how to improve your club, actual specificity, you suddenly don't see how that can help. So just shouting, we need better, we'll fix your club, but not giving any specifics, that won't help it further. So again, I think that's where they all fall down a little bit there. Listen, I want to thank every single person who's tuned into. I know there's more people backstage, but we are at the end of the show. We'll do more call-ins later on this week. I absolutely promise you that. What does it say here, Terry? Your argument is wrong. We've scouted Arteta. My argument isn't wrong. It just isn't. If we're having a conversation, what they say in the conversation, I think United need better than Bruno. Who would you like to bring in? Don't care. Scout's job. What type of player would you like? Don't care. Just better than Bruno. It's not a conversation, is it? That's the end of it. Like, that's a podcast. That's done. That's a debate. Because that's fine. You can have that opinion, but it's over, conversation over. If we're having conversations, you've got to be open to questions being asked. I think why people don't like the question is because it sounds like a good statement to go, I want this manager sacked, this player sold. But you can lose credibility from the people applauding you if your suggestions are considered whack. It's why it's easier for a political party that's never been in power to say what needs to be improved, because they can't have, well, when you were in power for 10 years, you did these things wrong. They can't be undermined as easily. Equally, when it comes to debates, you'll still see it now in every political cycle. We're going to more money for schooling, more money for police, more money for this. How are you going to do it? They don't want to tell you, because when they start telling you how they're going to do it, it turns people's minds back and they go, actually, I think I'd rather things stay as they were now that you've told me how you're going to do things. So people often don't like giving a solution, because if their solution isn't deemed good enough by the masses that are currently backing them, they lose support. That's my personal opinion as to why people don't like it. Listen, do me a big favor, please, and hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to The Terrace. We're back later today with the Top 6 show at 6 p.m. This is going to redirect you to Footy Judge Mo's channel. So go and support my brother over there. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.